How do we solve simple matrix equations? By simple matrix equations, I mean ones where there are only matrices, scalars, scalar multiplication, and matrix addition and subtraction. So the first thing that you need to know is that matrices are defined as being equal if they have the same dimensions and their corresponding elements are the same. So that's two pieces to that. They have to have the same dimensions. So as soon as you see a 1 by 3 matrix, no matter what these three things are, it's never going to be equal to a 3 by 1 matrix. No matter what these numbers are, even if they're the same numbers, we don't call them the same. And in order for them to be equal, the numbers have to be the same. So if this is 2, 3, that would be equal to 2, 3. But that's pretty obvious that something's equal to itself. If I gave you the equation to the matrix 2, 3 is equal to the matrix xy, you could say that, oh, 2 has to be equal to x and 3 has to be equal to y. Pretty straightforward, but it can look more challenging sometimes. However, all you have to do is realize that each corresponding entry is the same. So 2a is entry 1, 1, and 14 is entry 1, 1. So I can say 2a equals 14. And this is one equation that we can get from this. We're actually going to be able to set up 4 different equations. Sometimes you'll have, okay, this is just 3 and that's 3, and there's nothing interesting to figure out from there. But we have, in this case, that 3 equals negative 5b. Here we have negative 4 plus c equals to 9, because those are both in position 2, 1. And lastly, 8d equals 21 plus d. I know you know how to solve these. I'll do them quickly. So when you see a matrix equation like this, you can set corresponding entries to be equal. That's the first thing that you need to know. The other thing is, well, when we had normal equations, we could add, subtract, multiply, divide by numbers on both sides, but we can't always generalize that to matrix equations. So what you can do is you can add or subtract the same matrix to or from both sides of the equation. You can divide both sides of the equation by a scalar, so that's by a number. You can multiply both sides by 2. And something that we're not going to talk about for now, but we will talk about later, is multiplying both sides of the equation by the same matrix from the same side. So you could multiply by some matrix on the left side and on the left side of the right side of the equation. But that's going to come later. So if I see this equation, okay, negative 4 times b, matrix B equals that matrix, what I can do, well, my options are add or subtract the same matrix to or from both sides of the equation, multiply or divide both sides of the equation by a scalar, or multiply both sides of the equation by the same matrix. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. And negative 4 is a number. And when I do that, it's just a scalar, so I can divide that into each entry, and I get 4, 8, 8, and negative 3. Yay, that is all we have to do to solve that matrix equation. Here, well, I'm going to rewrite this in a different way. I'm going to multiply by 1/2 on both sides of the equation. And now I'm going to get y equals, well, now if I perform scalar multiplication, that 1/2 gets multiplied by each entry. So there's matrix y. Here, we can add or subtract a matrix from both sides of the equation. In order to get matrix A by itself, and typically when it's a capital letter, it's referring to a matrix, and I'm going to subtract 3, negative 4, 4 from both sides of the equation. 3, negative 4, 4. So that tells me matrix A equals, And now I can subtract these two matrices. Negative 4 minus 3, negative 4 minus negative 4, 11 minus 4, and that's matrix A. Last one, here we have a matrix subtraction. So I can add the same matrix to both sides of the equation. I can add this matrix to both sides of the equation. Negative 7, negative 2, 1, negative 11. Because this was subtraction, this is addition, these will cancel out and add to 0. The 0 matrix. The matrix with only zeros in it. And negative 7, negative 2, 1, negative 11. Now we add the corresponding entries. So negative 2 plus negative 7 gives us negative 9. 6 plus negative 2 gives us 4. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. And 8 plus negative 11 is negative 3. That's how we can solve simple matrix equations.